forever.
The Gifted, Mondays this fall on CTV.
On this official last long weekend of the summer, it is the perfect time to talk about beer. Craft brewing and also brew it yourself have become very popular in Canada. And what's the best barbecue dishes to go along with those drinks? Joining us now in studio, Master Beer Chef Brian Morin. Brian, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Scott.
So you've brought in 3 different beers. Tell us about this first one here.
Well, 3 things I think that sum up the summer. You got to have a great burger. And the recipe we did up today has a little pale ale in it with horseradish and cheddar. And you see the meat, it's got the chunks. You put it right on the grill. And it's a beautiful burger, stays moist because of all the beer inside, and complements it beautifully. And then if you're preparing a food dish with that beer to enhance it, to drink with, is a wonderful pairing.
What makes this so much of a good match for that?
Well, you've got the char and the nice, I say, sweetness of beef, and the delicious onions and different things that are in your burgers, the condiments, the sweetness. This has enough sweetness in it that it can stand up to those things, but it's got a malty factor that just kind of embraces the beef and makes them one.
The rack of ribs here, you know, we had to keep the control room basically at bay because this looks so good. Which beer goes well with that?
This is a great Pilsner, just straight up, clean, crisp, a little bit floral. This is a summer beer that I finished my cutting my grass, and I want to have a couple to before the ribs are ready. The ribs themselves were braised in an apple ale. And pork and apple, obviously a wonderful thing. But this is one where we've prepared with one beer, and then we're celebrating and chasing it down with the Pilsner that's clean and crisp.
So you don't necessarily have to braise the meat in the same beer that you're going to consume.
Oh, no. We're going to kick it up a notch and use the beers against each other.
Okay, third pairing here.
Last one is a beautiful cured salmon. And it's, you know, you take a piece of salmon and you crust it with sugar and salt and some spices. I've got a recipe for it if anyone wants. And then you crust it for about an hour or 2 until it forms kind of a crust, and then you submerge it in beer. And we've submerged it in this wonderful wheat beer. It's from Side Launch. It's very, very delicious. It's got citrus notes. It's light. It's refreshing. It's got a little banana and clove and pepper. It's delicious, and then it just marries with salmon. It cuts. It's got that tartness and lightness that cuts through the fat of salmon, and still allows you to taste the salmon without being overpowered by any of the beers. And that's the perfect pairing when you know, something isn't overpowered by the beer. It helps enhance it.
And these are all Canadian, locally produced?
Oh, these are all from the Ontario OCB, all the members.
How do you explain the popularity of craft brewing and craft brewers over the past few years?
Because good beer is as complex and as flavorful as any great wine. And people are now discovering that and realizing that, you know, a brewmaster is like a chef, and he plays with his recipes and he tries new things, and they come up with first, the OCB is all about traditional, doing it right with real ingredients, with nothing fake, no fillers, and it's all made by a craftsman. And yeah.
Are you surprised at the growth in the craft brewing?
No, I'm not really, because all of a sudden our people who have been enjoying beer have been learning about beers. And there's good collaborations going. A lot of people are getting a lot of education on beer. And with the OCB's help, we're going to be able to, you know, be one of the best destinations in North America for craft beer. And the collaborations, sticking to tradition while looking at new things and being innovative in beer.
It all looks very, very delicious.
People are excited, right? Want to try new tastes.
I'm not surprised, and I don't blame them. Brian, thank you very much, and have a great long weekend.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, take care. Have a beer.
Later. Now, as we go to break, if I did have a beer, here's who I would give it to. The Toast of NASA